Now this is a video I'm sure most of you guys have been waiting for. I'm ranking the Shredder performances, the actors slash voice actors who played the freaking Shredder. This is gonna be great. Remember last year, I did the reviews, I ranked all the Turtle performances. Now I get to go bigger. I get to go bigger and fucking harder. I am ranking all the Shredder performances from worst to freaking best. So, yeah. Okay, here is some of the rules here. Like, the fill-in Shredders from the 87 cartoon, I won't be ranking them all. Because I know that the Shredder's voice was kind of terrible because James Avery was really busy recording Fresh Prince at the time, and there was a stand-in. But there will be an other 87 fill-in Turtle Shredder voice actor on this list, so don't worry about that. He will be counted because he did more than, say, 12 or 13 episodes. But if this fill-in was just there for mainly a couple of episodes or whatever, then yeah. And the final Shredder from season 7 to, I think, 10 was only there by a total of maybe 8 episodes. I could be wrong on this, but I'm not going to count them. And I really don't care for the Red Sky seasons when it comes to the final 87 Turtles, so sue me on that one. But this one's going to be a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun ranking the Turtle voice actor performances when I was younger, and I'm honestly going to enjoy ranking the Shredders, because Shredder is just one of the coolest villains ever. I mean, he is just badass. I love his design. He's like a walking cheese grater, and there is always going to be a good voice performance, or hell, even a physical performance of Shredder. I will not be including the spin-offs like Batman meets the Ninja Turtles and shit like that. I really am not going to count him because that was just a one-off movie, and I just don't care for it. And I didn't include the Turtles who played him in that. And I won't include some of the fill-in Shredders from the video games. So, let's get things started. And let's start ranking this shit. Let's punish those freaks. Those creatures. Those turtles. And let's hit it.
Oh, how I've longed for an ally such as this.
Okay, well, the first, unfortunately, is Load Williams, who did the 87 version of Shredder from Turtles Forever. I think a lot of people know how I feel about this version of Shredder, or just about this version in general. This Shredder is, to me, the worst one, because he's trying to imitate one of the greatest Shredders ever, James fucking Avery. You know, Uncle Phil from the Ninja Turtles. And it's just a bad imitation, and it falls really, really short. I don't even know, there's no picture of this guy that circles the internet or anything like that. I just know he works at 4Kids, and that's about it. I really did not care for the performance in this film, and he's really trying too hard. Now, he would kind of grasp a little bit of an Uncle Phil imitation, but then it would just go really, really off. But James Avery had a certain type of voice that couldn't really be copied. I mean, it was very unique, very different sounding, and you really could not copy his voice performance. I mean, there are some Shredders that do top him. Don't get me wrong, I really love James Avery's Shredder, too. But his voice alone is just hard to be topped. And this guy, Load Williams, which is just a really stupid name. I apologize if I offend this guy, if he's watching it, which I doubt he is. But this is easily one of the worst Shredders I've ever heard. Or, yeah, it is the worst Shredder I've ever heard. He's imitating and trying way too hard. I don't like the voice performance. It just flat out sucks. And there are times where it can sound really monotone. And it's what they do to Shredder's character, the 87 Shredder's character, that pisses me off a lot too. A giggle ray? Seriously? Shredder has invented a lot of stupid shit in the 87 cartoon, even using microwaves to take over the world because they're not just for cooking anymore. That was the Easter special, so don't sue me. I like that one. And this one was just, I don't know. It's like they were trying really hard, and this is what kind of slaps the 87 Turtles in the face. Why I hate this crossover special so much, because they don't show any respect to the Turtle characters or villains or anything like that. It's just a giant slap in the face. And it felt like the 03 Turtles were saying, our version is better, 87 version sucks. And honestly, it's not that. I know it's the kid in me and the nostalgia in me that loves the 87 cartoon, but this just felt like a giant slap in the fucking face. This Shredder was easily one of the worst Shredders I've seen, and still to this day is the worst until, well, Seth Rogen's garbage movie comes out. Anyhow, let's move on to the next one, because we're going to have a lot of fun here.
For errand boys. But we could work with that.
Now we have Brian T. from the second Bay Ninja Turtle film, Out of the Shadows, and, well, they did try to give him more personality in this than they did the first one, but why was the actor recast? That's my serious question. What the hell is that? What's up with that shit? But this guy doesn't look interesting. At least the one in the first Bay movie kind of looked cool. I like the whole bald head and breaking some dude's fist with his chin kind of shit. But this guy, this felt really lazy to me. And I did not care for, well, Shredder not wearing the helmet through the movie. I mean, he looks better than the Transformer, I guess, but this really didn't sit well with me, and it was one of the dead parts for me for the movie. I mean, I prefer the actual 2014 version a little more, but I don't know. This version is just very bland, boring, and etc. And they try to go back to the roots of the 87 cartoon and make the Shredder a little sillier, and that's what kind of hurts it to me. It's making him a little silly, but trying to make him badass, and we don't really get much of that here. I just couldn't really get into his performance. He really looks like through the entire movie he does not want to be here. And honestly, I can't blame him, because this guy is actually a pretty competent actor. He's done some pretty fun movies in the past, but this was just not his style today. This is a very painful performance to sit through, and it was just bad. I mean, it's Michael Bay. I mean, these movies were just created so Megan Fox could flaunt her asshole around CG garbage-looking turtles. And I'm gonna stick with that from now on. I'm just gonna keep that in mind. This movie was just made for sex appeal, and that's it. Let's go to the next Shredder, please.
Society wants to reduce the Foot Clan to a myth. But the Foot Clan will rise again.
Next is Taharu Masamune. Or Masamune. I'm gonna go with Masamune. I don't know. I'm not a very good master at pronunciation, so you guys are just gonna have to stick with me on that. From the 2014 Bay film. I said he gets a couple cool points because, you know, his design looks kind of cool. I like it. It's a pretty unique looking design. But he has all the chemistry of a paperclip and a rice patty. And that's about it. He has no flavor, no real personality. But his suit is, to its credit, kind of cool. But it's way too technical to me. And I'm guessing they were trying to go with more of a technological kind of thing with Shredder in this. But he ended up looking like a stupid dumbass Transformer, and yeah, that just did not stick out to me really well. I didn't care for this version either, even though his design out of the mask looked cooler. I'm guessing Shredder grew his hair out in the second movie, and he got a little more handsome and got rid of his scars. But this one, I just have my own special down issues with this one. I just didn't care for it. He was bland and boring. But his design was kind of cool in the same process of that. So, there you go. I don't really have all that much to say about this one. He's just very boring. Not interesting outside of a cool design. Next.
It's a super shredder!
Even though he appeared on screen for a few minutes, I'm going to count him as part of Shredder because it's very memorable. Kevin fucking Nash as Super Shredder. Okay. Let's just show how cool Shredder is and how the ooze, I guess is what it's called, was able to transform his body by replacing him with a professional fucking wrestler who is just looks awesome. You know, I kind of like that. But what really hurts the Shredder is they kind of just make him a generic Hulk, which kind of just always bothers me. It's not a terrible performance, it's just there. And unfortunately, he gets defeated by knocking a beam of wood on himself, which is just really stupid, in my opinion. It was a dumb thing, and I still had issues with the second movie. I liked it more when I was a kid, but I'm not going to discount Kevin's performance. He was great. He was a actual physical threat to the Turtles, and I love that they used a professional wrestler in this film. It was kind of awesome. It kind of gets you pumped up, and you want to see him fight, but it's kind of a letdown at the same time that he's defeated by a bridge. The same Shredder, technically, who was thrown into a garbage truck in the first film, is beaten by a bridge. You don't get worse than that, people. You just don't. And this one is just, I like his appearance and everything, and I like the big hulking force, but it left a lot to be desired. Kevin, you were awesome, and the whole super strength thing was a badass thing going on, but I gotta say, it was a giant letdown, especially after popping some moves with vanilla freaking ice. Yeah. Okay, I'm done. Let's move on.
I challenge.
Francis Chow. You know, the guy from Lost, who was in the video in Lost. You know, I gotta get off Lost here, because I'm gonna get lost if I keep talking about it. Anyhow, Francis Chow was the replacement for James Saito from the first movie. And how did he do? He just did okay. They keep the English voice actor dub over him, but you could tell it's not the same actor in the costume, and you could also tell that physically. I believe Francis is just a tad taller than James Saito, and he doesn't seem as threatening. They make him silly in this too, and don't get me wrong, I actually like the actor's performance, but physically, he just did not have that intimidating feel that James had from the very first film. And it kind of bugged me. Even when I was a kid, I didn't really like this change. And then, on top of that, they changed Shredder's outfit. They give him a gold helmet and more of a blue suit, when I originally liked the red outfit that James was wearing. Now, I'm just nitpicking. I am aware of why James Saito was replaced, because, well, he was pretty much upset over the fact that he did not get to provide his own voice as Shredder. And also, I am not gonna add the English voice actor anime voice actor who dubbed over Shredder's voice in these movies, because honestly, it's basically they're trying to make it the same character, and I will say he did a good intimidating voice, but I'm just gonna go physically with these actors. Same goes with etc. So it will be a little different from my Ninja Turtles. However, Francis Chow did not seem to really fit the picture to me, and I know that doesn't seem fair to judge him, but after Saito was able to give us a top tier performance and really just nail it down, we don't really get to see this actor do too much. He doesn't fight much. He's more or less just there, you know, to be the comedic relief. He doesn't really get into altercations with turtles, and he's not all that intimidating. In fact, they seem to try to copy the 87 Shredder a lot, but they try to keep his character. And honestly, it's a mix that does not work very well. To me, anyhow. I don't like mixing the elements from the movies and the cartoons together because that always bugs me. And it still does today. He doesn't have that intimidating presence that the first movie Shredder has. And it does show here in the performance. Now, I have nothing against this actor at all, because he has been in some great stuff. He's been in Lost, he's been in a few episodes off and on of Grey's Anatomy, he's been in some really good movies too, but he was really not fit to play the Shredder. He was a decent replacement, but it felt like they were trying to get him to more or less copy the original, and it just did not work with me. I'm kind of a Shredder connoisseur, picky when it comes to those actors that are playing him, and this one, it just kind of felt a little too forced. As you can see, after this, I'm not going to be in such a nitpicky stage. After this Shredder, it's going to go pretty decent chats about him. I'll only have a few nitpicks. So, let's continue.
I am King Shredder! I hold Excalibur! None dare defy me!
Oh yes, Jim Cummings, who did the replacement for Uncle Phil, as in James Avery, the late but great James Avery as Shredder, during the Vacation in Europe side season of the Ninja Turtles. And what do I have to say about Jim Cummings' performance? It's awesome. He actually does something a little special here, and he kind of fits. One of my favorite is actually when Shredder is using the Sword of King Arthur, and he gives him sort of this more refined British type accent, which it's Jim Cummings. I mean, there really isn't much I dislike about this version of Shredder, and I really enjoy this one a lot. I mean, I didn't even notice that the actors were changed when I was a kid, so you've got to know it's pretty damn decent when it comes down to it. This Shredder, I have no idea. It's just really likable. Jim Cummings was more than just a stand-in to me. He really stuck out and gave his own little spin on Shredder. Instead of imitating James Avery, like when they do the Red Sky seasons later on, he just did his own thing, and he kind of made Shredder sort of a badass. He did pretty impressive to me, and that's a lot when you could take it away, because in the Turtle 87 cartoons, you would definitely notice the voice change even as a kid. Here, I didn't really notice it, and he kind of gives Shredder more of an elegant tone to this, and he could be threatening too at times. The insults here are pretty funny as well. I really enjoy this version of Shredder a lot. I don't really have all that much to say, other than it's a great performance by a great voice actor, Jim freaking Cummings. That's all I can really say. It's Jim fucking motherfucking Cummings. So, that's all I'm going with. This was a good performance, a great round, and a good stand-in while James Avery at the time was working on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. So I give it 3 thumbs up, even though I don't have 3 hands. It was excellent, especially. Go back and rewatch these episodes, you'll see what I'm talking about. He always leaves his little trademark something special within his voice in this, and it just friggin' works. Next is Hoon or Han, I'm going to go with Hoon Lee from the Rise of the TMNT franchise. Wow, I bet you guys were not expecting me to rank this version this high, but I did, and I actually like his Shredder more than I thought I would. I think he was the best character out of the entire franchise of the Rise series because, well, the Turtles suffer gigantically in the show, but this Shredder is actually awesome. And one of the best fights is that whole beautiful animation fight that is going on with that Shredder later on. I love it. I actually really enjoy his performance, and he gives Shredder more of a serious tone, and it kind of makes me think of James Saito's original voice for Shredder that he did. There are some surviving clips in the original Ninja Turtle trailer if you go back to the 1990 version, and it does kind of make me think of, well, James Saito's Shredder with this voice. And it works. He's not over the top, he's not overly threatening, and it just fits perfectly. I really like this Shredder. This is the best thing out of the entire Rise series, and I never even thought to this day I would rank something from Rise this freaking high. They give him a lot of edge and a lot of personality, and I really enjoy it. They make him intimidating, and they make him fun at the same time. I didn't think I was going to get such an enjoyment out of this version of Shredder, but here I am, and I've ranked him this high. I ranked him above TMNT, Secret of the Ooze, and Jim fucking Cummings. So what does that tell you? If I really like this version of Shredder, then yeah, I'm a big Jim Cummings fanboy, and I do love the original movies. So this is really a good performance. It is solidly good. I was honestly surprised by it. I'm being dead fucking serious here. There's not a lot I could say because I'm really dick writing this performance, but man, it was the best performance out of the whole show. Out of all the turtle voices, out of Splinter, out of even April, this version is a definite win. So yeah, I think it's firmly at a good spot here where it was placed. Let's move on.
Foolish child. I taught you everything you know. You hold no surprises for me.
Okay, Kevin Michael Richardson is an amazing Shredder from the 2012 series, and I really can't argue. He could do so much with his voice with Shredder. Everyone knows Kevin's voice for it being deep and really, really, baritone, and I just love that. If anything, yeah, I could really see him taking over the role from other characters. I would love to see him back. He's even better than the Rise Shredder, and I was kind of slightly disappointed that he didn't get to keep the role of Shredder in this version of the Ninja Turtles, in the Rise version. I would love to have kept him permanently iconic as Shredder. He did great, giving Shredder a mixture of comedic value and badassery at the same time, and I really love that. He just kind of finds a good middle ground for Shredder, and his voice is just epic. I mean, I love this dude's voice. I would let him sing to me. That's how much I love this dude's voice. He also has been known for doing other voiceover roles. I mean, hell, the guy played Grimace in the Ronald McDonald commercials and cartoons. That's fucking amazing. Who would have thought Grimace would be a great Shredder? Well, whoever thought this was completely, utterly, 100% right and knew how to cast Ninja Turtles. Kevin Michael Richardson is a beast, and his voice was nearly damn perfect, and it's honestly iconic for Shredder. I love it. Man, I couldn't get enough of his performance. The 2012 series is just so damn good. I'm normally really picky when it comes to turtle stuff. I don't think things are going to top whatever is in my brain, but man, the 2012 series pulls no punches, and I love absolutely every minute of it. His Shredder can be over the top intimidating, and then it could be funny if it needs to be. But man, when Kevin just hits it, he hits it straight out of the park. Excellent Shredder. That's all I'm going to say. I love his voice for the character. And look at this. I am just completely dick riding him here, but it was just incredible. He is on grounds with very close to the 87 Shredder. That's how much I like and respect this role. But he's not the best. Let's continue moving on to find out who the best Shredder actually is.
Anyone who stands against me.
We have moved on to Scott Rayall from the 2003 Ninja Turtle series, and I've got to say, I really do enjoy his Shredder. It can get a mixture of over the top and etc. I didn't like his portrayal too much. They really kind of went over the top with him in the Turtles Forever movie, especially when he just continuously growls, but this Shredder doesn't have much comedic value in him. He is more or less a Shredder that gets shit done. This version of Shredder I consider the King Piccolo of the series. He will get what he needs done, and he will have it done no matter who gets in his way, no matter who the hell is standing before him, no matter who his enemy is. And I really enjoy that a lot. Scott's performance kind of just knocks it out of the park as being a great, evil, intimidating Shredder. There really isn't much comedic moments with this character. In fact, he kind of reminds me of Lex Luthor. Dead serious, flat out, pure evil if he needs to be, and I don't really want to ruin the twist to people who haven't watched the 03 series of what he really is. But man, I just love his voice, and it fit perfectly with the way Shredder looked, acted, and pretty much ran with the whole series. He was a good Shredder. No, he was a great Shredder. And he steals most of the 03 series. In fact, after they take him out, it is really noticeable because they don't make a villain as good as this Shredder ever again. And Scott just man, he just kicked ass as Shredder. I could just go on and on about how good this version of Shredder is. The look is intimidating. The voice can be intimidating. The regular Oroku Saki persona can be really intimidating. I love every scene with this Shredder, even in Turtles Forever, where I just bitched about. So, what do I say? I say this Shredder is easily one of the best Shredders ever made, ever put to screen. We got such a great, diabolical villain that stole the show, that outdid the 03 cast in general, and it was just a shame they killed him off too early. Let's go to the next one.
I dine on turtle soup.
Well, now we're on to fucking James Avery, the king of one of the best Shredders ever. And yes, I know this is sacrilegious to not rank James Avery as the best, but man, there is just one more Shredder that embodied the role that might be just a little better than him. We cannot forget, and I can't even begin to grasp how important his Shredder actually is. James's Shredder set the standard for the Shredder that everybody knows, identifies, and loves the most. He is a very important character and a very important voice performance, and man, he just brought so much to the role. This was the role, I think, found one of the best middle grounds for Shredder ever. Yes, he's a complete fool in most of the show, but he could still have his moments of intimidating people, especially in those first 5 episodes from the season 1. A great character with so much impressive display of ability. I love that he can fight, he can kick your ass, yet he can give you a really good lesson in vocabulary, and he has that incredible deep voice that probably could get your ass beat. You know, it sounds like he's gonna just find you and whoop the dog shit out of you. That's how much James Avery just embodied this role a lot. And honestly, once he was replaced in like the 87 version by other voice actors like, well, Jim Cummings and etc., you could notice it slightly, especially with Jim Cummings, just barely slightly with him anyway. And in the later Red Sky seasons with his actor in that his voice was missing. And this was just one of the greatest performances ever. James Avery himself has even stated how much he loves the show and how he depicted his life with Crane was a married couple fighting all over, and Bebop and Rocksteady were the kids. There was even an interview that he did on the Season 4 Ninja Turtle 87 cartoon box set where he says, well, he probably lost the kids in the divorce to Krang, and Krang got everything. It was just amazing. James Avery put so much ability into playing this character, and he put in so much comedy and also intimidation. He could do almost anything. He could do nearly all of it. He was an excellent Shredder, and one of the greatest Shredders of all time. To many of us, even when I read the comic books and etc., I still hear James Avery's version talking. I don't know why I hear his version talking, because it's just so fucking iconic that you cannot help but love his voice and performance and delivery. I mean, he really pushed everything that he could out of this character, and he just made the character his own for a long time. He captured the goofiness, the badassness, but mainly the goofiness, and he just cemented it in our brains for so many years. Honestly, there's two performances that this man is known for. It is Uncle Phil, obviously, as Fresh Prince, and the Shredder. And when I found out that he did the Shredder's voice, it blew my mind. It was like finding out that Jaleel White voiced Sonic. Is he the best of the best? Well, he's damn near close to it. If this performance didn't exist, he would be the best. And I will die on this hill to say that James Avery did make the Shredder his own role. And honestly, most of the roles behind him are all pale imitations. And that's saying a lot. And even Kevin Michael Richardson even says that James is a superb Shredder. It's just very hard to pick your favorites. But there is one more above him, and we're going to get right to him. And it's very obvious if you know who I am and know what I love.
Grows. The city itself will be our playground to use as we please, rewarding ourselves and punishing our enemies.
The best is James Saito from the original 1990 Ninja Turtle movie. See, most of the Shredders that come before always try to do the imitation of James Avery's version and etc. Which is weird. There's two Jameses in a row here. That's actually kind of cool in a way. But I'm getting off track. Anyhow, most of the Shredders all try to do the mixture of comedy. They try to make Shredder goofy in some way or comedic in some way. Their Shredder, which I think the 03 version tried to copy this version a lot, is a complete badass. I mean, there is nothing funny about this version of Shredder. He could fight, he could kick your ass, and etc. It was just incredible. And James Saito's performance, the physical acting that he could do, was unbelievable. I think my favorite moment with him is where he takes his mask off and he finally sees Splinter and remembers Splinter for who he is. You could see like the pain and the rage and the anger in his face when he sees Splinter and remembers exactly who he is. He remembers Hamato Yoshi. He remembers the pain and rage he felt. This is my personal favorite Shredder. And the fact that he's not a complete goof. He could kick anyone's ass, but he lets his Foot Clans do all the fighting. And he lets Tatsu do most of the fighting. He is skilled. He gets in a fight and he takes down all 4 turtles easily without even breaking a sweat. Now, a lot of people say that they don't like that each turtle attacks him one-on-one, but I like to think that it was more of an honor thing with them. They were choosing to fight one-on-one because they wanted to fight fairly. And they did show scenes of them all 4 running, so I'm guessing that they did try to go 4 against 1 on him, and it didn't work so well because they are all worn out. But I just love it. Everything about this Shredder looks awesome. The design, the mask, and the helmet looks incredible. There's something so authentic. His body language looks great. His outfit, the red and etc., looks just so powerful. It just breathes incredible. James Saito's performance is unbelievable. And honestly, the only thing I have to nitpick about it is the fact that they did dub over his voice. Because if you listen into the trailer, his voice is just fine on its own. This is where they didn't use the voice dubbings. The Turtles, I could understand why. They wanted some younger actors that sounded like teenagers, which is why they got like Corey Feldman and Brian Tochi and Robbie Rist and etc. But James Saito's voice dub is something I just can't understand. He really physically captured Shredder. He didn't really need to have his voice dubbed over. Listen, I always kind of like Shredder sounding like a Japanese master. And that's pretty much what he is. A lot of people will say, well, James Avery's the best. And, you know, I'm not going to argue with their opinion on the matter. But physically, this man was able to capture Shredder and basically rock and embody this performance. And I really do hate the fact that they dubbed over his voice. Nothing against the actor they used to, you know, dub over his voice, but physically this man was threatening. He was scary. He could fight. He could kick your ass and take you down. He took down all 4 turtles. And the fact that you could see how good of an actor he is. Most of the movie, 90% of the movie, his face is completely covered, other than a flashback scene and the scene at the very end. And you could read the character's emotions through his eyes. Like when he body searches Danny, or Dan is what he likes to be called later on, and he sees the picture of the turtle, you can see the rage in his eyes. He acts so freaking good with his eyes. Being able to study those emotions, you know, from the character's glance with his eyes is just damn fucking incredible. The physical aspect works too. I don't like that Shredder is really tall in some of the media. I like that he is average height in here. And I like the fact that he looks skinny, but he is more or less built like a warrior in some points. I really wish we could see the cut where they did let Steve Barron let James Saito talk as Shredder. I would have loved to have seen that. Nothing against the English voice actor, like I said, but man, this would have been a complete perfect performance if we would have gotten that. But physically, and just acting with your face and eyes mainly alone, that shows how damn good of an actor you can be. And James Saito is just a master here. He captures the broken warrior, the one filled with hate and revenge, to a T. I love it. I love his confrontation with Splinter at the end. I love his fight with the Turtles. I love how he's a looming presence through the entire movie, but we don't see the guy in action until around the end. That is so awesome. I would like to see the extra scenes that they cut out of the movie where he fights the Foot Clan that was arrested. I would love to see that. But however, this performance, from what we were given, to me, is the best Shredder version of all time. And I will gladly stick with that. It is an incredible performance, an incredible actor, and honestly, one of the best aspects of the entire film. So, he is worthy of being the best. And that's it for this ranking. That about does it for me. I hope you guys actually enjoyed this version of me talking about all the Shredders. I mean, there was just a lot to go over, and maybe I missed a couple of voice actor performances, but like I said, there was only certain ones I was permanently going to skip out on and intentionally skip them. So that's about it. Anyhow, I hope you guys really enjoyed this version, this worst to best voice ranking list. I really liked doing it too, and I had a lot of fun, and it was just great to revisit these products and to visit some for the first time. So, anyhow, we're going to get to our next video of Turtle Month, and I'm going to be ranking the TV shows from worst to best. So, join in for that one, and I'll see you next round. Let me know what you guys think next week, and always remember, I'm listening.
Hello, this is Corey Feldman.
Welcome to my studio here in Los Angeles, California, and I just wanted to pop in to say congratulations to Tim. Mr. Tim, I hope everybody's enjoying your videos. He's got some great content, and if you're enjoying his content, make sure you click on that little button right there that says subscribe. Why? Because everything on his channel is Bossa Nova. That's right. Congratulations on your channel, Mr. Tim. I'll be following you, and I know everybody else will too.
Pizza power!